Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another week of BlastCast. I'm here with, once again, my Bastion of Common Sense Lightning Dragon, and upcoming this week, basically a walkthrough, initial impressions of Stellaris, and eventually a comparison between Stellaris and Master of Orion, what the differences are, not necessarily which one's better or worse. Primarily tonight, we're going to be discussing the leaked patch notes, some of the things we saw in there for 2.4. Of course, all of this is tentative. Some of this may not be in there, but some of these things kind of caught our eye and kind of had some questions on them. So I'll let Lightning bring up the first thing that kind of caught his eye, something that he was concerned about, dealing with clothing.
Yeah, that's right, because I was just kind of glancing over it so that I was like semi-competent in what I'm talking about, but I have my email open. But one of the things they talk about is now when you die, you lose money because there's actually going to be a temporary money, the alpha currency, basically. It's UEC, but it's tagged with something different, so it's possible we're going to lose it after the test, but big deal, we know about that. But one of the things they talk about, because you're going to be losing money every time you die, eventually you won't lose any money if you don't have anything. But one of the things in here is like you can buy new weapons and armor and clothing, and I was curious because when you quote unquote die in a ship, you still have the ship, you have the life system, so you can only die so many times. But then if you have to make a new character, your new character inherits all the old things because they're part of that family or whatever. So I was curious, is that going to be the same thing with like weapons and armor and clothing? Because imagine, for example, I'll use GTA as an example because we've been playing this recently. If you went and bought something like a really high expensive gun in GTA and then you died and you lost that gun, you might be out like $50,000 or more in GTA because of the nature of that game. So right now you're losing money when you die, and Jarvis and I kind of mentioned this when we first started the podcast, is maybe that's part of the insurance thing. So maybe you still keep your weapons and armor, and the reason you lose money when you die is like part of it is like insurance, and maybe the other part is kind of like a death mechanic. Like if someone killed you in the street, they'd rob you.
Yeah, and that's very possible. I mean, I'm looking at this thing when you do die by, well, it says here, I think it's by
natural causes.
Natural causes, yeah.
Which is like if your ship gets blown up or someone shoots you with a gun or something.
Yeah, they still let you suicide if you get stuck or something like that, and
which is still kind of common, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that kind of makes sense that they wouldn't penalize you for that. But yeah, they're adding shops to Port Olisar, and there's going to be some areas that are kind of under construction still, which is kind of cool. They've added large landing pads for the larger ship, particularly
Starfarer.
Right, and they've added the Starfarer G. Now, I haven't seen any pictures of this yet, but, well, I saw one, but it wasn't very good, so it was hard to tell really what was different. The engines look a little bit bigger, and that kind of makes sense because it is a heavier ship, being it has all that armor and whatnot on it. And I guess some of these shops are also going to be available in ArcCorp for shopping as well. And
the armor and weapons and some of the clothing.
Exactly. And of course, obviously, back to the thing we can't celebrate enough, the temporary death of the holotable until they probably institute a new version.
Oh yeah, I see that now.
Yeah.
Oh, ... for now, stupid holotable.
Well, I think they're going to be... I had put up a picture a couple podcasts ago, maybe it was in the last one, where they showed the new mock-up of the new holotable. And if that's what they're doing, then if that's what's coming back into the game, then
nice.
I think that's going to be a massive improvement because it was a lot easier, a lot cleaner, and now if they could just do that with the radar and put that on the center screen instead of that glowing ball of obnoxiousness that's in your face.
Oh, yeah.
It's just little things like that. I think that there's nothing really wrong with the radar itself other than getting rid of that little ship icon in the middle and then moving it onto a screen so we can actually see it.
And making it not as freaking huge. I mean, even if you have to glance down at the bottom of your monitor, I mean, that's the bottom of the monitor, so it's not really in the way. Right now, it's like almost smack dab in the center, so it's like, here's your radar, you can always see it. Well, that's great, but imagine if you were flying on a World War II airplane and you had some guy sitting in your lap and his head was like in your face half the time, like saying, there's an airplane to your left, there's an airplane to your right. You'd be like, shut up and move out of my way, I can't see. mean, it wouldn't be as obnoxious as that. That's a bad example.
That's a visual. I tell you what.
Little guy just crouching, tight as a ball, like just
the radar
against
elf.
your instrument console. You can't see anything except for him, and he's just shouting orders at you, like your fuel tanks are low, and it's like shut up! I'd rather have a gauge.
The radar
Sometimes
elf.
I feel like the UI and stuff is just like too loud.
Yeah, and you're gonna be able to use your Moby Glass in your hangar to go ahead and set up all your stuff, and that should actually go on into the persistent universe. Now, right now, from what I'm seeing on these early notes, that doesn't actually work in the persistent universe. So you actually set up your ships in your hangar, but you shouldn't need to. See, the trick you had to do before with the hangar was that you'd set up your ships, then you whatever you could manage to work without it being glitchy or buggy or weapons not sticking to your ship for some reason, and then you go into Arena Commander, you do free fly or whatever, then you'd back out, and then it would save the setting, and then you would go to the persistent universe. So this should take that
obnoxious.
Yeah, that should take that step out of that, and make things a little bit faster for doing changes. Now,
yeah, because they're tying it into the Moby Glass now, so you can like change all the stuff while you're in the PU.
Yeah. And it looks like they've also changed it so that the Revel and York hangar, the center hangar, the one that you default, is actually the Starfarer hangar, the biggest one, because they're retooling the way that the rooms are added on or the way they connect. So for now, until that's actually finished.
It reminds me of something that was about a year ago when they said that they'd be modular and they'd scale just kind of based on what you put in them, which is not the case as it is now.
Yeah, and that's one of those changes. I think that maybe that's a move towards that system. There's still a lot of work there. Also, the thing as well is that criminality is going to be persistent, and it takes you an hour to lose every level, and it's not just okay. So if you want to lose your level 1, it's an hour. If you want to lose your level 2, you have to go 2 hours to drop to level 1, and then 1 hour to lose your level 1. And this goes all the way up to 5. So they said it takes 15 hours for you to drop a level 5 criminal status. And unless
that means no more getting kicked off the server, but
right.
At least minimum 15 hours of being an evil pirate.
Well, there's a way to shorten that. You can actually go and do things like, for example, you could go and reactivate communications terminals that will, in a sense, be doing something for good, and that can drop your point standing as well. But as you go up the ranking,
it's kind of weird. I'd make it so that you have to kill other pirates.
Well, I mean, I don't know. That could be down the road.
Think about turning on a radio tower. Yeah. I'm an evil villain. Here's my radio tower. There's an evil villain here. I mean, how is that seen as good? It's just broadcasting your location to everybody.
Everyone's
like, Station 42 has got, Dread Pirate Roberts. Everyone kill him. And then, now you're dead. Sorry, tangent there, but.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. And as you move up, there's Defender and Outlaw missions that award the Alpha UEC. So depending upon what you choose and how you want to play the game, different things are going to be available for you to make money. And now
options are always good.
Options are optional. No, also anyone is listed as an outlaw. When you actually see them in the target grid, they show up as red. So there's absolutely no doubt who's an outlaw, who's not. And yeah, so that's one of the things going on there. We have also you're gonna have to pay for repair, refuel, and when you land on the pad, it opens up your Moby Glass, and it lets you see what you are going to be, what needs to be done, what it costs, and then you confirm what services you want to have done. Now, hopefully, this goes in tandem when actually having things like reload work, because I've had.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. How many times have you had to redock or like lift off, shuffle over to the repair bay on the right, land, and then okay, now we have ammo. Or, okay, now they put the wing back on. So it's like you can end up paying 2 to 3 times what it actually costs to fix your vehicle because of bugged landing pads. Another thing though, I want to bring up really quick, which I'm sure you already know, that is the patch notes are really, really long. And if we went through all of them like one by one and gave our thoughts and opinions, we'd be here for like an hour or two. And so we should really be just like glancing through and be like, okay, this is good, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I already kind of put them up in the prior video, and that
The
was
leak video.
yeah, and that was kind of one of those things that I wasn't really sure if I should do or not. But it was all over Reddit. It was discussed in the forums, even in general chat. There was a links to it
You could
already.
just Google it. Just
Right.
Google Star Citizen 2.4 patch notes, and you get like 4 or 5 things. There's another YouTube video that was up that had like 1,000 views or something.
Yeah, and the leak came from CIG's side. This guy had set up a program where it would just whenever a new notes came out or new patch notes, it would just kind of automatically get them off the site, and he didn't have to look for them. And when they set this up, they didn't just email all the people, all the Evocati people, basically the patch notes. They had it
The
like on a
ninjas.
yeah, they had it on their site like not listed though, and this guy's program snagged it. It was more of the fault of CIG not setting things up in a more secure manner or approaching it in a more secure manner. Not that I'm for the idea of this kind of thing. I
No,
wish it.
unfortunately, we're both in agreement there. You're not going to get any argument there.
Right,
I don't mind a more focused test group, but
right.
the fact that it's kind of like they're like, okay, well, we're going to pick these mystery people and they're going to do all these testing because of arbitrary numbers, just like getting into the test server now. So this brings up another thing. We're going to kind of diverge off Star Citizen for a second, but Star Trek Online,
Yeah,
there was a Tribble test server, and everything went on to Tribble. And maybe your opinions made a difference. Maybe they didn't. Most of the time, they didn't. And then they came out with another test server,
red
Redshirt.
shirt
And so they had two different test
test
whatever
servers. Yeah,
servers. And it's like, why? Yeah, but why? Why do you need two test servers? Just make it so that the regular test server is just more limited. Just like, okay, well, only the most hardcore people will be in the testing thing now, and just accept that. That's how we're going to do things. We get the most, bug reports back, right? We realize that these people are the better writers. They know how to write up bug reports, and just come out and have this big post saying, we're sorry, but this is what we're going to have to go to streamline some of the patch things so that we can get the newer version faster than if we just had 10,000 people smashing their bandwidth to download it.
right. And I kind of agree with the limited in the sense that it does cost CIG money to go ahead and do all the mass amount downloads. That doesn't happen for free. That's a very expensive thing. Have tens of thousands, if not more, people download a 25 gigabyte patch or something like that, and that gets really costly when you add it up over 10,000 people or more. So I totally get why they would approach it this way. It looks like a lot of the ships are getting health and armor rebalancing.
I was just going to say we should move on to the ships because I want to talk about that.
Oh, go for it.
Well, just like one of the big things, it's why I posted, I copy pasted it to you when I was reading the patch notes, because I think it needs it. Ships that are receiving a decrease in health include blah 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 blah. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. The Hornet. Oh, finally, thank God, the Hornet is being brought down off its mighty pedestal of you cannot touch this. We are the superior space fighter, which by the way needs a rework, and it's getting a rework to begin with. But I don't know why they're lowering like Vanguard and the Constellation. I think the Constellation already got nerfed before because it had like 1,000,000 hit points or something
Well,
ridiculous, and then
that's
they
because
nerfed it to 400,000 or something.
that's because it looks like they're adding armor to some of these ships. So
Oh, if
where
they're adding armor, that would make a big difference.
right, where basically before it was just they didn't have armor and they just had threw on a bunch of hit points to kind of make up for it.
Right
So
here it says ship armor and shields are current. Thank God, shields are garbage right now. They're fucking worthless. If anybody has played and you get shot like 3 times, shields down.
yeah, shields are a bit weak, but in a game where you have complex systems and you give us things like escape pods, our ship needs to live long enough for us to actually reach them.
Good increase here. The Mustang and the 300 series, and even the Freelancer are getting bonus hit points. I think that's a change for the better. There's a lot of people, including Captain Tyler, that it's like the Mustang is just it's unplayable because it can't even compete with even the Aurora.
Well, yeah, and that's a ship that needs a lot of work. I myself, I got the exploration version of the Mustang and the LTI version of that, and I can't even get into the ship. I walk in there, that's who, and he stands up and
That's been a bug for a while.
oh yeah, and even if I try to crouch, he shoots through the top. I'm like, I've yet to be able to get into it to fly it. I'd have to get the
I
Wing
had
Commander.
that. I was doing the ship review. That was forever ago, and I tried to get in there like 3 times before I was able to like not like just fly through the top of the hull. It's weird though, because it's like you have to be like crouched when you use it, and then like crouch as soon as possible. Otherwise, your head bumps into the top, and then it like, oh, collision detection. And rather than like push your character into an auto kneel like it's supposed to, it like suction cups you out of there. And they have lots of ships that do the opposite thing, where it doesn't detect you hitting the floor, like for like that video with the Retaliator. When we were doing an arena commander, and I had the Retaliator for some reason, which is bliss because I don't have any guns. I tried to get out of the pilot seat and go to one of the gunner seat, but right where the gunner chair was behind the pilot seat, there was like a missing blocking texture or whatever it's called, and I'd fall through the ship. And well, you've just lost a ship. Congratulations.
Well, they're also unifying the controls between FPS and flight, meaning that the default button configuration, so that basically things work similarly in the sense of what buttons you press in A, B, and C to do everything. So that's good. That way you don't have to memorize two different keyboard layouts in that respect. Hopefully they just mean that and not actually the whole actual control method, because that would be very annoying to me. I want to see a flight game and I want to see an FPS game. I don't want the two to become the same thing.
There's a lot of camera angle things that got fixed. Like,
Mhm.
there's a lot of ships, if you zoomed in, you'd get stuck somewhere, and that's been fixed. There's an entire list of all the ships. Like, there's even, the Starfarer is even in here. Fix an issue where the character walked past a ladder, the Starfarer would automatically climb the ladder.
Well, also they're playing more with salvaging, because the asteroid belt in Yela is going to be full of it's going to have a lot more salvage in it,
Oh, that's right.
and that's going to
Yeah.
let people who like to go ahead and find weapon boxes or derelict ships out there. It'll give them more things to find.
Something to do. Isn't there going to be pirates out there as well now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so I think that's excellent, because Yella, yeah, I knew there was stuff out there, but I mean I didn't really want to circle that field forever trying to find this tiny little box. Some fixes to the Cartual, which is great because the ship. Hopefully they fix the issue where it's sitting on the dock and it slowly rotates to the left, because it's kind of funny. You just sit there and watch your ship spin, and you're like, why?
Well, fix an issue with automatic landing on the Cartual would sometimes cause the ship to strafe. ... Forever.
I hadn't come across that one, but I have seen the rotating ship, and I'm just like, why is it spinning?
Maybe that's part of it, like a side effect
Maybe.
or something.
It might be. And let's see here. Oh, it looks like they killed off the Vanguard Warden's missile racks being attached to any ship, aka Gladiator pilots, strapping those on.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, what? I didn't know you could even change them out.
Yeah.
I like some of these first-person weapon things.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're changes, though. I mean, I'm not gonna like go through here and just tell them all, but like they're changing weapons. But it's like a bunch of issues. Like if you switch to it, sound would be weird or damage would be weird. Fix some visual effects with the arrowhead sniper rifle. I mean, it's just kind of like they're working on the FPS stuff, which is always nice to see, because that's a big part of the game. I mean, it might not be 50% of the game because it's mostly about ships and stuff, but I mean, even if it's 30% of the game, that's a huge chunk of the game, and they haven't even really touched it. And
And I was talking to you about this last night at my job.
Yeah.
Lightning calls me at my work all the time because it can be slow there. So I was thinking about, it's like, why isn't Star Marine out? And I was thinking about it. It's like, well, they've only really had 3 weapons or so, like 4 weapons. You count the pistol, you had the shotgun,
pistol,
you had the
shotgun,
sniper rifle, and the
assault
rifle.
Yeah.
And so they don't have any of the shields up and running. They don't have a lot of the things that you saw in the demos aren't finalized. So they can't release a Star Marine without having this stuff. Now, if we see the ability to buy, like if they have like dozens of weapons that we can choose from, I think that's a greater indicator that they're getting close to actually putting that
Even if they
piece
had
together.
2 of each type, okay?
Right.
Think of like the Halo 1 pistol, which was obviously ridiculously broken because it was firing sniper rifle bullets. And think of the Halo 2 pistol, right? Which was
Right.
more of a 45. And then you can think of like the battle rifle versus the assault rifle. And even if
Exactly.
you just had, an opposite one. I don't know what an opposite of a shotgun would be, or a sniper rifle.
Obviously,
but-
the shotgun is a sniper rifle. That's like those. That's the opposite.
Oh yes, a shotgun variant that's a sniper rifle, so it's got the tightest cone and there's
Hey.
no damage fall off over time.
I want the Borderlands 2 version, the shotgun that shoots swords that explode. That's
Yes,
what
that'd be good.
that's what I want.
Or maybe a Gatling gun that's a shotgun, so it's just blah 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 blah. Big. Yeah, you have like a belt ammunition feed, and it's like 400 pounds of bullets. But I think we're running a little bit long on time here.
Yeah, so anyway, guys, that's just generally some of the things that caught our eyes this week. And there's going to be more content coming out this week and next. It's going to take some time to put some of it together between work and whatnot. But I have some interesting things coming out, including the first random cast, and which is just us playing Robocraft, talking about whatever comes
it
on our
was
mind,
it
and
was pretty fun.
yeah, and kicking ass. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening tonight, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye bye.